So like many of you, I've seen many videos about looksmaxxing over the last couple years. And I originally wasn't going to make a video about it, mainly because I thought it was going to be boring. A bunch of young white guys killing themselves to all look exactly the same didn't appeal to me. But after seeing several deep dives into how crazy this stuff is, I had a change of mind. You know I can't resist the chaos. But most importantly, I wanted to give some sorely needed nuance to the conversation. First, let's define looksmaxxing. Lookmaxxing refers to a trend originating in online male incel communities and popularized on TikTok, where individuals strive to maximize their physical attractiveness through various methods, including both soft and hard techniques. Soft maxing is the normal stuff like working out and skincare regimens, and the hard maxing is the permanent stuff like reconstructive face surgery. I want to be all the way real. I didn't know the actual definition of looksmaxxing until I watched those deep dive videos. I simply assumed that it referred to stepping your game up. You know, just making yourself look better. I had no idea the term originated in the incel community. In general, I believe self-improvement is very positive. And the internet just did what the internet does. Made it toxic. So now there's Reddit pages where fairly attractive people upload pictures so a bunch of people can tell them how to change every feature on their face to make it look like a default white dude with squinted eyes. The problem is the same as every other problem we face in this day and age. Something relatively simple exists. Then it gets a name on the internet, and an entire community emerges from it. Then, this generation of homebody introverts invest in that parasocial community and make it their whole identity. Look at this guy. Bro fresh off the set of High School Musical. Looked like he hit puberty yesterday. He uploaded 2 pictures, one without a beard and one with the beard. And the comments are literally just people deciding which one looks better. Like, bro, why did you feel you needed a bunch of random strangers to tell you nothing? This was hella unproductive. It can't be good for the mind to be this insecure. Why can't he just look in the mirror and decide for himself what looks best to him? How can any physical characteristic on your face or on your body be an expression of yourself if it was dictated to you by the internet? People so desperate to be clones of each other. A lot of these people in these forums judge looks based off of a one-size-fit-all type of beauty scale. Something like that will never actually work in real life. Not everyone can be judged on the same scale, bro. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Remember when that fat chick said that she was a 10 on that Red Pill podcast? Then the whole internet collectively lost their damn minds. If she thinks she's a 10, then why does it matter what we think? If you asked her, if she looks in the mirror and sees a 10, then that's what she sees. Now, it might have been a different answer if you asked her, what do you think I would rate you as? But that's not what he asked. These type of dudes who believe in the 6 feet box jawline requirements for men are the same dudes who will call that great AI monster thing the ideal man. This right here, the ugly monster thing that look like Bigfoot. Why the fuck would I take advice from this guy? Especially as a black man. How could a person's opinion on beauty actually count for something when they think that this AI thing is an example of ideal masculinity? To me, this is an example of a mutant. Okay, he gotta worry about fighting the X-Men. He ain't worried about beauty standards. He gotta worry about being Timmy Turner's favorite superhero. He gotta worry about fighting Roman Reigns at WrestleMania or something. Like, there's no way this dude walks down the street and he doesn't frighten people. Cats climbing up trees, babies crying, shit, grown men crying. Any dude who quotes the term Giga Chad in a positive light has lost the damn plot. Being a freak of nature is only good for getting attention, not ass. And I personally don't know many black women that consider this large chin meme person to be attractive. So already we're seeing the white conservative foundation of the online looksmaxxing community is a big influence on their idea of beauty. Here's a creator who did a video on this a while back.
I was privy to a discussion and thread about ethnosells. And about whether white men have it easier than men of color. Ethnosells are an intriguing phenomenon. You have 2 options when cursed with the existence of being an ethnic. Live as an incel in the West, all the while getting berated by whites for being genetically inferior. Or live as a normie in your shithole of a homeland where famines, crime, civil war, riots, coups d'etats, poverty, political unrest, genocides, and diseases are rampant. Essentially, we have to choose our poison, and I honestly do see why it makes some ethnics so bitter. Another user says, also, I'm not coping. I've literally seen videos of girls saying, I don't want my kid to look like that. It's not Aryan. It's just we don't want our kid to get uglier, and Asian and black is noticeably uglier. Race pull is strong. Just look at all the ethnic women seeking white sperm for their offsprings. You're more likely to come out attractive if you're born white, as they're better looking on average than the other races. On the other hand, if you're born ethnic, you have to surpass higher, insane odds to come out good looking. The chances of coming out subhuman are too great. The black pill is, if he got skin lightening, it would triple or quadruple the Freud's IOI. Not saying it's possible, just the just be white applies in non-whites. Why do blacks obsess over a derogatory term for mixed race individuals? It's because they're light skin and have more white facial features that combine with some black features for a more aesthetic look in some cases. 90% of mixed race individuals actually look worse than full blacks, lol. There was another thread that I was on in which a young man was asking rather desperately for advice on how to improve his appearance. He has a good job and success, but believes that there is room for much improvement. He appreciates and stresses that he will never be a Chad, but that there is, of course, room for improvement. Now, the only reason that I am posting this individual fellow's photos here on this channel, I am not intentionally doxing him or anything of the sort, is because I just hope that by some fluke or some will of the gods, he sees this video and sees that he is actually an incredibly attractive man physically. And just based on reading the things that he said on this forum, I feel that his confidence has been so brutally destroyed just by life, by society, by his experiences and personal perceptions of himself. And it is absolutely heartbreaking to see. Your brown eyes is your biggest failure. I think you're hard capped where you are now. You need eye ptosis repair, genio for height, deep neck lift with someone like Dr. Mike Nyack, plus a rhinoplasty. You have the wrong bones to become a Chad. It is simply not possible without facial reconstructive surgery or a skull transplant. And the OP is desperate at this point. There are good looking people with brown eyes. I know I'm not going to look like a model, that is fine. So since we know my eye color is not what is holding me back from being high tier normie or maybe even Chad light, what is it that's holding me back from that? And what can I do to correct those things? And somebody responds, the nose is what immediately caught my attention, so I'd suggest a rhinoplasty first. I agree with others about your chin, more vertical length would help. It's either an implant or a genioplasty. A chin implant is less invasive, there's a faster recovery, supposedly more predictable results. Right eye ptosis is quite noticeable, can get a correction there too. Soft maxing. I would suggest making your eyebrows less rounded, darker, and enhance eyelashes as they can mask your ptosis a bit. Now, if this is what they are saying about a man who is exceptionally attractive and would be to, I think, any woman that he would approach in real life and talk to, converse with, and treat like an individual human being rather than a generalization, I cannot imagine what the rest of the users on this forum feel about themselves.
Yes, ethnosells. People who have been poisoned by the white ass beauty scale so much that they hate their ethnic features. Ethnic features, or the lack thereof, is the main reason the average white man and the average black man have two completely different beauty scales. Listen, white dudes and white dudettes, Prom Mila Kunis is not getting anything above a 7 on my scale. Sue me. Everyone is not supposed to have the same idea of beauty. That's why there is nothing wrong with that fat lady putting herself at the top of her own scale. To conclude this section of the video, I completely understand why this looksmaxxing stuff gets toxic. They're all obsessed with looking the same. But, plot twist bitches, that's not truly what this video is about. The main inspiration to make this video was the people who did the deep dives on the looksmaxxing phenomenon. And watching these videos, there was one reoccurring theme that I noticed amongst the women creators. Try to see if you can guess what it is.
But the crazy thing is, we don't really basically put men underneath the same telescope. I did a video when I was speaking about society hating women in their 30s, and I stated men kind of have pretty privilege up until they're about 22 to 23, and then after that, when it comes primarily to dating, women don't really care about looks as much. It's more so about how you can provide. But even then, a man just needs his face to be attractive. A woman needs the full package.
Did you see it? It's this idea that men just discovered the pressure to look good. This was pissing me off so much. This ridiculous idea that men don't face pressure really burns my ass cheeks. This doesn't get talked about enough. You hear women all over the internet singing the blues about the pressure to look good thanks to social media, but there's never any non-manosphere, non-incel, normal, rational guys to talk about the pressure the media put on men. I mean, I'm not rational or normal, but I'm all you got, so that's what this portion of the video will be about. First of all, male self-improvement been a thing long before the internet made it weird. Since the beginning of humanity, the best looking guys always got the most attention from women. Be serious with this. Guys have always worn clean fits, worn good colognes, got fresh cuts, exercised, showered, etc., etc. There was always pressure on men to do this to attract women. Always. The obvious difference between men and women's societal pressures is very simple. Society expects more from men than women. It's a bit of a blessing and a curse. So if you're a dude and you had the misfortune of being cursed with the ugly, then you have other attributes that you can rely on to compensate for your hideous face. We only want two things from women: personality and beauty, not youth. That's them weirdos that be saying that. If you bad as hell and you 50 years old, you can still make bread off of OF. Let's be real about it. The average man cares about personality and beauty. Okay, this is post-edit me. I wanted to clarify what I meant by that. Society puts a lot of pressure on women to be young, but it does it as an extension to beauty, right? Not have crow's feet, not have wrinkles. The people who focus on fertility and the numerical age of a woman, talking about 16-year-olds look hotter than 25-year-olds and that type of weirdo stuff, does not represent the majority of society. Those group of people have a very pedo mindset, and they actually are attracted to the youth itself, which is traveling down a pipeline to pedo land, which doesn't represent the majority of people. The majority of people just want women to be beautiful, which is probably why it feels like there's so much pressure on women to always be attractive, because we're not really pressuring them to do anything other than that. So that was the point that I was making. But for men, there are several main societal pressures, and I'm gonna go over each one of them. Looks is first, because pretty privilege is a real thing for men too. Remember this guy? The homeless guy that asked for a job and a bunch of women offered him a home? Or what about this psychotic bastard right here? An actual fucking serial killer, and chicks is out here offering to pay his bail. Some of these bros got no chill, bro, I swear. Everything in life is easier when you're attractive, okay? We all should agree on that, so let's move on. The next pressure, however, is exclusively a male problem, and that is sense of humor. And this is one of those things that is never spoken about. How many guys had a crush on a chick, right? And then you saw that chick dying laughing with some other guy and been like, shit, she don't never laugh like that at my jokes. It sucks, I know. Sorry I had to make you relive that. But I'm tired of people acting like you're born funny. Sense of humor boils down to how well you can imitate the things that make you laugh. Whether it's storytelling, dry humor, roasting, situational humor, I believe whatever you find the funniest will instinctively be how you try to make other people laugh. So if you the type of guy that never laughs, you are more than likely also the type of guy that never makes anyone else laugh. And what's the first thing chicks say about guys like this? He's nice, but he's too serious. In fact, how often do we hear women include funny as one of their desired traits in a man?
What do you look for in a guy?
Any guy, as long as he's taller than 6 feet, I'll find him hot. Funny, weird and goofy.
They don't have to be physical. They can be, they don't have to be physical.
Oh, okay.
Too far.
A sense of humor and probably just like honesty, pure like honesty.
I gotta go MJ. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put Cole on my 2. Cole gonna be my 2.
Wait, hold on, wait. You left.
I got Cole at my 2.
This is why guys are far more likely to attempt jokes in a conversation than women. One of them is going to land eventually. This is why there's a misconception that women can't be funny. Funny women typically become funny naturally from growing up around funny people, but there's no pressure on women to be funny. So there's way more funny men than funny women. That's why there's more male comedians. So to all the serious guys out there who's not funny, I suggest you start watching more funny stuff. What you feed your brain matter. If you feed your brain more comedy, bit by bit, you will become more comedic over time. And this is my actual philosophy on this, okay? It's unproven, so take it with a grain of rice. Either way, I still recommend that everybody set up their For You and their news feeds to include more funny videos. If nothing else, so you can laugh more throughout the day. All right, let's move on. It shouldn't be too hard to guess the next category. Masculinity. Yes, the thing so goddamn difficult to live by, Gen Z had to redefine it 100 different times. For the sake of this video, I will be using the Webster definition. I'm mostly focusing on the pressure on men to always appear strong, confident, and stoic. Now, to be fair, this is not necessarily a necessity in every environment. Some areas, there's no real threat of danger, so typically the women in those areas don't prioritize masculinity as much in a boyfriend, though they still might find it attractive. But in other areas where danger is very much a constant threat, women usually want tough men. No chick wants to have to claim the guy who cried after getting beat up. That embarrassment is hella contagious. In dangerous environments, women typically value guys who can make them feel safe. And there's two parts to making her feel safe: how you carry yourself and how you face adversity. If somebody break into your house and you crying and panicking and shit, she gonna panic too. And God forbid you have kids watching you melt down, that PTSD is gonna hit your family like a ton of bricks. But if you stay calm and you say a plan, they'll also be calmer and they might just be less traumatized from the incident afterwards. Even if your plan was telling them to hide in a room just for you to go downstairs and hide in a different room. The importance of stoicism is to present yourself as someone who can handle stress. You deal with the majority of stress so your lady and your kids don't have to. And if you're like, fuck that, we all scared, then I ain't mad at you. Do you? Be honest. You know I like to be honest on this channel. Women are not exactly known for reacting rationally in stressful situations. Just telling a woman to hurry up because we're going to be late might cause her to overheat and explode. But if you're married to Wonder Woman or Ronda Rousey, then by all means, hide under the bed. But me, I'm trying to be an action movie hero. Fuck you mean. The amount of times I just walked out the door, turned left, and walked directly into a nigga moment.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Bro, I gotta have hands. I don't know the number for 911. Regardless, this is about societal pressure, so it affects all men. Masculinity as a topic in general has been fumbled all over the damn internet, and it's annoying. I don't need some beautiful little sweetheart in her upper middle class 4-bedroom home sitting in front of a mic and a 4K cam telling me masculinity is a toxic societal construct. Masculinity is a defense mechanism, and it is born out of a need for it. A lot of these uppity ass content creators that speak about masculinity couldn't even imagine a scenario where it would come in handy. But that's okay, because I'll give you one. So you just chilling in your room, right? You're putting on your makeup, making your little video calling masculinity toxic, when suddenly zombies burst into your living room window. Now, what type of boyfriend would you want to have in this scenario? The emotionally available crybaby who can't fight, or the masculine guy who can handle stress? Exactly. Masculinity is not toxic. We're just in a soft ass era where a lot of people can't find a use for it. But this era won't stay soft for very long. We'll see if they sing the same tune when them zombies invade. They already resurrected direwolves. Mark my words. Either way, this is a universal pressure for men. You can't even be shy as a man. Let you try to talk to a chick while you acting shy. That might end up being the most embarrassing moment of your life. And let her do some degrading shit like, "Oh, he's nervous." You might have to commit seppuku right then and there. So I think you get the point. Most men have felt the pressure to appear tough, and most heterosexual women find masculinity attractive. And please, please, try not to confuse masculinity with being obnoxious. Okay, so compare like Jason Statham in one of his movies to like, you know, the loudmouth guy whose ass he's about to kick. In any movie, just pick one. All of his movies are the same. So now it's time to move on to the next category. You knew this was coming. The pressure on men to be wealthy is insane. And I'm combining this category with status. Money and status are so important to men, it's actually depressing. But before I continue, I need to explain how I got traumatized by this standard as a kid. Long ago, there was a thing called cable. It was a collection of channels on TV. And on cable, it was music videos because YouTube wasn't as popular. So music videos would come on MTV Jams, VH1, Soul, and a couple other ones. What you have to understand is black women R&B was very different back then. It was far worse than the girl boss stuff of 2020. It was ain't shit ass niggas cheating on their beautiful R&B girlfriends, then getting their bald heads mushed cause she's breaking up with him. That's all it was. Ooh, cheating ass nigga ain't shit, mush. And mush his bald ass head out the door. Scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. You gotta understand, I had a low cut back then. I was one number from a mush. I was in elementary school, all right? I didn't know how relationships work back then. All I know is I ain't want to get my head mushed. Then you got TLC talking about using the passenger seat of their best friend's ride is scrubs. Like, bruh, I'm a kid living in my mom's house. What does that make me? Passenger seat? I wish. If I don't call shotgun in time, my ass is in the back seat. That's 2 mushes. Then there's Destiny's Child talking about bills while glitching the fuck out. And the only part I remembered as a kid was good for nothing, trifling brother. And what made it worse is I had a crush on both of these groups. But I'm a scrub and I'm bald. So if I ever met Destiny's Child or TLC in person, I knew I was getting my head mushed. And this was just the tip of the iceberg. There was one video in particular that ruined my perception of relationships forever. This song is called Irreplaceable by Beyonce. This demonic ass harpy put all this poor man's stuff in one box to the left. Oh my God. Put my stuff in 2 boxes in the middle. I would have crashed out. First of all, why does all his stuff fit in one box? What is he, a minimalist? And then why would she put all his stuff to the left? The video didn't match the lyrics exactly, but the song describes her putting all his shit in one box and pushing it to the left of like a garage where there's like probably spiders. So ew, now he got spiders all over his shit. And she calling him a cab because he don't got a car. When they shot the video, they probably had to tone it down a bit so it could air on TV. But it's still traumatic. Ever since that day, I knew I would never move in with a chick. It gotta be my house. I wish a chick would put my stuff in a box to the left. Put my shit in the middle, bro. Like my stuff is so in a way, you gotta slide it to a dusty ass corner to the left of all directions. That goddamn song gave me nightmares. It must be hella embarrassing to be that guy. Look at the top comment on this video. Even now, people still can't respect this man. So yeah, the pressure to have money and be famous is real. It's hard to talk to a chick in a car while you're standing on a bus stop. The problem with the pressure on men to be rich is it creates a toxic mindset. A lot of the dudes who follow this money equal bitches mindset to its completion typically feel the overwhelming need to flex their money, thus making them look like clowns and scaring away the quality women while attracting the pigeon-ass gold diggers. Most men understand you don't need to be rich to get a good girl, but the pressure to be doing better than most is real. Why? Because we're supposed to be providers. It's hard to provide for anybody else if your stomach growling, when your ribs is showing, when your budget tighter than that girl trying to fit into that lift, when your bank account on E, when your bank account health is low, when your bank account needs to be resurrected from the dead. Who is you providing for? That's real pressure. You'll never get canceled for shaming a broke nigga for being broke. Society is disrespectful to broke people. Women can sleep their way to the top. We gotta invent something or create something. Take something. We gotta do something. As a man, if you don't know nothing else, you know you gotta do something. Niggas be doing anything because they gotta do something. Ask one of them squeegee guys why they out there squeegeeing. Ask them. The rain will do your job for you, son. What you out here for? I gotta do something. Dead ass. The pressure is real, bro. So what's my point? Not to change anything. Honestly, I'm actually kind of cool with the way things are for men. What annoys me the most is random chicks invalidating our struggles for no goddamn reason. Because we truly gotta stop constantly invalidating each other's experiences just to act like we got it worse than the other. Because once we stop doing that, we can put a rest to this pesky gender war. So, never. But, you know, we gotta try. But that's all for this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Peace!